listen to this. This is episode 2 of JigJaw with Ju in her shed. Right, I'm going to put that there, 1 second, just moving my phone. I hope you're all very well. Well, when I say all, potentially there are maximum 4 listening to this. So, well, I suppose that still means all. So I've had to do this one again actually because I did record it and the film bit worked but the mic didn't. So you might notice that we're a bit further ahead with the old jigsaw than yesterday. Not much because it's actually cocking difficult, but never mind. And you might also duly note my gloves. Now, these are not because I'm worried about coronavirus and touching my jigsaw, but we had these delivered with some vegetables. And I thought they looked rather smashing with my jumper. So I'm wearing this jumper again because my mate Nathan, who did listen yesterday, thought it was marvellous. And by total freakery, they match my shoes. So I sort of look like I've thought about this. I haven't at all, but it made me laugh as I put these on. So, hang on. Oh, Christ. Blimey. Now, I do have a couple of pairs of yoga pants, not because I do much yoga. I've done it 3 times with my mate Catherine in a hall in Benfleet. But I've worn these today because I'm getting quite used to not wearing much underwear. And these yoga pantage, actually, I haven't even put any knickers on today. I've got to that stage now where I care less about so much that actually even getting dressed seems a bit of a trial. Anyway, don't let that put you off whatever meal you're on. Well, I should start doing this, shouldn't I? So if you did listen to the first one, bloody well done for coming back again. I'm going to try and do a few more edge pieces today because I'm completely aware that actually this jigsaw is hilariously much bigger than I anticipated. Oh, look at that. Straight away, boom, 2 bits. But then I was pushing this around, thinking, well, that's good. But then I remembered I've got this as well. I've actually got another half a box of probably 2,500 pieces here, and another 2.5 over there. Anyway, we can do worse things with our time, can't we? Right, hang on, let me get my notes because I did send this link to a couple of people and I've got a couple of emails, which is quite exciting. So, but the first thing to say is that we have had COVID-19 in our house and it's absolutely revolting. And I really, really hope that no one gets it within your families. It's cocking horrible. And while my husband had it, he was really ill for about 12 days and it was a bit grim. But I did take advantage of his plight because I'd nipped to Lidl to get supplies before this all cracked on, and I picked up loads of seedlings and packets of seeds, thinking, oh well, maybe I'll grow some stuff. But while he was ill, I thought, oh Christ, I haven't got anything to actually grow it all in. So I drilled holes in all of his work buckets and some old recycling glass containers, you know, those old recycling things. Yeah, I drilled holes in it all and then I just planted up all my little seedlings, of which I was absolutely delighted. I've got some Chardonnay carrots coming up smashingly in some buckets. Anyway, he recovered. Oh, dog food tins. I rinsed out loads of dog food tins. They've got seedlings in. They seem to work very well. Buckets. Anyway, it looks completely horrific outside, as you can imagine, with loads of old tins and old buckets and a faded old council glass recycling thing. I seemed thrilled. Anyway, he came down once he'd recovered and wasn't having a bit of that, let me tell you. So he has duly now made me a rather fancy vegetable patch. So weirdly, it worked out excellently for me. But yeah, and also he hasn't got a single bucket that he can use around the house, and so that's gone excellently, let me tell you. He also, oh actually, do you know what I didn't bring? I didn't bring a cup of tea, so I'm going to have to ring it in a minute. I've had to negotiate my way to this shed because I don't want you to get the impression this is like David and Victoria Beckham sort of situation. I literally walked through past all of my buckets with my laptop and stuff, and then I made it to the shed, and I've had to negotiate an old tin of bitumen, get past the old freezer that we had for parties and stuff. I'm sitting on the end of an old armchair, but behind me are all the garden furniture, cushions and buckets, an old television, all sorts of nonsense stuff I'm meant to be eBaying, but it turns out that I haven't, so we've put it in the shed. And because it's it's the rain today is horrific, and the weather's rather inclement. You might hear it raining soon. I've had to do some lighting because it was a bit dark. So I've had to light my Miffies up. Look. So there they are, lighting. So I've actually had to get a bit professional today. I've even got lighting. I've got sound and lighting today, which I'm just going to check it's recording because that was a waste of my life earlier. I have had a couple of email questions, so I've written them down. Right, one from Dwayne. Dwayne has a question. He said, "Good morning, Julia. Have you managed to wear a bra during lockdown?" Well, I alluded to it a minute ago. No, Dwayne, I haven't. And actually, what's happened is they're so saggy now that I nearly caught them in the boot as I put the shopping in yesterday when I nipped back from Morrison's. So they're becoming a little bit dangerous, and I suspect by the end of lockdown that I will actually need sort of a couple of casters. They'll need a couple of wheels because they're so far down, or at least weights and pulleys. So no, Dwayne, I haven't actually. No, but good question. Mike has messaged saying, "During lockdown, Ju, I cannot stop pickling vegetables. But will you come over when this is over to smell my kimchi?" No, I won't, Mike. What else? Who else has messaged? Oh, Liz has messaged. Liz, who is the purveyor, and not purveyor, wrong word, who is what is she? Super fan of the Merrill utility shoe. You'll probably hear this a lot actually, because when I was on Instagram a lot, I ran out of energy with that, but when I was on Instagram, her Merrill utility shoes, which she would team up with literally anything, evening wear, work stuff, kids parties, anything like Morrison's, but also formal banquets. We did an event over in Bali. She tried to team it up with a long flowing gown. It was quite a posh do. Anyway, Liz has messaged to say that her daughter is really, really enjoying the Alexa I bought her for Christmas, and she's dancing around her bedroom to Ariana Grande and things that she likes to, rather than listening to the music that Liz has made her listen to for months, which essentially is The Cure. So that's pleasing that little girl now is skipping around to some popular current music as opposed to everything from the 80s. Who else has emailed? Who else? Let's have a look. Well, actually, who else emailed? No, shut up, Julia. See, this is boring, isn't it? Last night I was watching. I did note this though. Last night I was watching telly and I watched Love Your Garden with Alan Titmarsh. For those in Australia or Canada, Alan Titmarsh is a legend over here of a gardener. He has been on the television for years and years, and he gardens. But the gardening shows have sort of basically had people on them, dressed for gardening. Whereas, to my chagrin yesterday, two of the girls who work with the Titmarsh, I had to call him the Titmarsh because he's that sort of level. They've got a full slap on now. They wear one had a floaty trouser suit on, not appropriate for gardening, and the other they've got like full nails, they've got eyelashes on, they've got the full makeup. Whereas the first season, nothing like that, and I really loved it. Now, switch over to BBC One, and you've got total Charlie Dimmock. Look up Charlie Dimmock if you don't know who she is, because she, again, is a legend in her own right, because she couldn't give less of a tinker's cuss about all that nonsense. She moisturises as much as I do. Her breasts literally are further down than mine, and she's almost digging with her own hands. They're like shovels. And and it's quite refreshing, and I like it, and her face is as it should be. But the yin and yang of those two gardening programs, I had to mention it to Matt. Sadly, Matt wasn't listening. He had his headphones on, was watching people sail around the world on YouTube. They tend to be these very glamorous, beautiful couples. I think it's mainly the fact that the women are really beautiful, do yoga on the boat, and seem to have popped out 2 children and hardly noticed. Whereas he married me, and 23 years on, I'm still trying to lose the baby weight. Anyway, but he didn't listen. But I thought that was quite important, actually, I have to say. What is exciting, though, is that I know that Sparky, my mate from the Ford of Manchester, is listening. And that is most exciting. And Sparky, I know that you'll be absolutely appalled at the state of probably the sound quality of this and probably the lighting. But the minute lockdown happens, even if you've got a big urgent job on, you're going to come down and sort this out. Because, well, I mean, if this still survives, because people might just be bored to death by that. But also the fact that this is a 5,000p JigJaw, this could possibly go on for utterly years, the rate that I'm going. So that's your first job, Sparky, when you can come back. And from the fact you're from Manchester, I'll even pay your petrol. Who else has emailed? Liz messaged, Dwayne messaged, Mike messaged. Oh, I tell you, I had some notes from Nathan. So Nathan, who is my Antipodean friend, who you will get to know and love as we all do. I sent it to him because him and Liz have bullied me to doing this. And he had a couple of notes, mainly about the state of my hands, which was the first sign. He said, we need to deal with your hands. The fact they're like sausage, we can't really see. Hang on. I have bitten my nails during lockdown, mainly because as we watched Gangs of London, it was so violent and brilliant. I bit all my nails off. So I totally grant you that they are, well, they're not nice, are they? And I haven't made an effort. Also, those fingers seem to point that way. And they are like sausages. So his note was, your hands are gross. Let's sort that out. Fair enough. And he also, I said to him, because he's got a massive addiction to shopping, like stupendous. Like, I couldn't even, I just about managed to go and get food. The thought of doing shopping for fun is just unacceptable to me. Anyway, so I said, how are you coping with not shopping? And he said, well, then he started laughing. He actually took me into his spare room via FaceTime, and he has set his own shop up. Now, I'm not making this up, because if I was going to make up a lie, it wouldn't even occur to me to make this lie. But yes, he's actually folded all his clothes up. He has got a rail. He's got all his t-shirts look like Benetton. He has got a rail, he's got shoes, he's got his pants, everything. And he actually goes in and tries his own stuff on, which you're probably thinking, don't be so stupid. It's true. It's absolutely true. My biggest issue also with this is the fact that his fiancé Andrew, I just wonder whether, so like me sitting down last night after the day, if I had to suddenly get up and go, hear a ding ding, there's someone in my shop, I'd go, oh God, I've got to go, someone's in the shop. And then, I mean, Andrew, do you do refunds, or do you have to pretend to take money? The whole thing it's so brilliant that actually I chuckle as I go to sleep, because I can't even imagine. I can't ever imagine having my cupboards that tidy. My husband Matt would bloody love that, because I today had to try and shut my cupboard door, like literally wedged it with my whole body. I almost like threw myself against it, like I was trying to knock a door down. Matt's side's all beautiful and all arranged, and mine isn't. I mean, if Matt was starting this venture, there's no way he would negotiate all the crap in his cupboard. Like, I'm looking at a Karcher power washer now. There's no way that he'd be sitting here looking at a Karcher power washer. This would have been sorted much better. And actually, I might try and get him to do that. Surreptitiously, I'm going to try and get him to sort that out. So if you do need anything from Nathan's shop, there are only limited sizes. Yes, but I can give you the link to his website if you need it. Talking of Antipodeans, I should probably speak a bit more in Australian so that everybody understands. Like I should say, Steve Logan. Now, there's a guy called Steve Logan. We work with him all the time on some of the big shows we work on, and he is the most extraordinary audio man life has ever brought to the world of audio. He's calm, he's lovely. When all the big boys are kicking off, being rude to people, putting other people down, pretending they're in charge and stamping their feet, and all the pressure's on, Steve just sits there very calmly. He gets his theremin out and just makes things happen without any attitude whatsoever. He's utterly a legend. He does like Rick Wakeman. He looks a bit like Rick Wakeman. He'd be thrilled. He'd be absolutely thrilled with that accolade of looking like Rick Wakeman. If you don't know who Rick Wakeman is because you're all so young, then you're going to have to Google him. But he liked a wooden, I suppose he liked a wooden flute, didn't he? Like a wooden, Steve will tell you. But anyway, there's a very deep sound, there's a very specific sound of Rick Wakeman. And Steve, once he's put his theremin away, he's always been excellent. But he was telling me, in fact, I've got some jigsaw on my jumper. He was telling me about, what was Steve telling me about? Oh, he's got a new bit of leather for he's got a shark's tooth. And because he had a fight with a shark, and he got this tooth. Now, I know that every Australian's got a shark story. I think they're all, I think they've either got a shark story, a spider story. Nathan's got a shopping story, but a shark's or a magpie and cockatoo story. I've never seen so many people get so animated as when we were surrounded by quite a few Antipodeans at work, and we started talking about magpies. Well, conversation went absolutely nuts. Everybody had a cockatoo story. I used to have cockatoo stories in the 80s, but not the bird type. I'm going to lean over here now. There must be some edges over here. And Steve actually called cockatoos vindictive, vengeful bastards, which is pretty mighty, isn't it, for a bird? But essentially they ate all his decking. And I think he's had to put steel down now with a little facade of deck. And another bloke we know, Robbie, the bloody birds stole all the sealant round his windows. And he was in Sydney in a flat, and they took all his rubber out his windows. Do you know, I think, have I done all the edge pieces? Possibly not. Now, I did have, my mate Emily was worried about this. Oh, that's just a whippet. She's so old, she fell out of her own bed. Oh, she's turning round now. She doesn't seem to smell as much as the other one. I think it's the other one that stinks, Binky. I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh, I'll have to come back to it. I can't remember. About the shark's tooth. Yeah, so Steve has got his shark's tooth, and he did email me. He sent me a picture and he said, Ju, let me just read it. Dear Ju, do you like the attached photo of me in my denim dungaree shorts? Well, few issues arising with that very sentence, I'll wager. But mainly, Steve, I do like them. I like how your wife is posing quite in a proud way with you in them. But I would say they're a little bit too snug now on you. And particularly as the weather's about 40 degrees down there. I'm not sure. I'm not Mrs. Health and Safety. And I'm certainly not necessarily Mrs. Wet Wipe with Hygiene. But I think you should probably put them in a hot wash. And I'd be surprised if you can get them on in the midday sun, frankly. So yes, that's what I say to you about that. But I think your shag's tooth, the new bit of leather thong, looks bloody amazing. I don't know if my Canadian mates won't be awake yet, because even if they are, once they've woken up, as I do this, I know that they have to go and tap a few trees to get their syrup out and then put it on their granola. And then I know that one of my mates, Hilary, she always has a wrestle with a bear because a bear comes to her porch every day, and you know the traditional Canadian things. Maybe over here. Am I going too fast? Do you think I should slow down with the jigsaw pushing? Maybe I should have a bit more of a system, because at the moment all I'm doing is pushing the edges to over there and then just churning it all up. Really, I need some jigsaw advice, but I'm going to show you the lid again, because this is what we're trying to achieve here. Look how complicated that is. And I don't know whether even putting them into colours is going to help me, but I don't know. I'll try. I might start with all the green bits over here. Look, that might be a bit more pleasing for people if I start all the green bits. Another friend messaged Claire. Claire messaged to say, Me and Jared like dressing up. Do you think this is appropriate for homeschooling? No, I don't. I'm not going to go into much more about that, but Claire, no, I don't, and I think you should take it off, and I don't think either of your children should see that again. Now, Emily, you wrote to me because I only sent the link to about 3 people because I was so embarrassed about the whole situation here, but Emily's main concern when there were bits of jigsaw on the floor, and I've had a look around, and I don't think there are. I think you might have just seen bits of old took they're on the floor, like for example, I'm looking at bits of old paint, bits of old sawdust, bits of chippings, a ball from Christmas, that sort of thing. So now, at the moment, although I did get a bit caught on my jumper earlier, maybe I'm just taking them around the house. I might be taking out bits of jigsaw day by day. Won't it be particularly annoying if I finish this and there are a couple of bits missing? It will be all my own doing, because if you saw it yesterday, you'd have seen, or seen episode 1, you'd have seen that I literally opened the box in front of you. So if anything's lost, totes my fault. So Dwayne message, I've said about Dwayne. There's a lot to talk about Dwayne. My friend Mike, who wanted me to smell his kimchi, he also emailed to say, have you seen all of my extra work I've done? So, because Mike retired from the city and he went into extra work, and he now has been a man on an escalator, I think once or twice. He's been a man with a briefcase, walking quite urgently. That was on Sky, I think. And he's also lay around in mud. I don't know if he was dead, but he had to scream at people. So if anybody's interested in seeing my friend's Mike, seeing his extras roles, I'll ask him to put a little show reel together, because I think potentially Mike could go quite viral with his scenes. Certainly with the escalator work, Mike. I don't think I've seen anyone surpass it with the excellence of that. So Emily's notes were bits on the floor. I know that Sparky, you were worried that my table just isn't going to be big enough. Well, actually, I know I'm a bit dim and everything, and I'm a bit like, I'm not very thorough, but I looked at that bad boy, look, and I did measure the table to make sure. That is why these old seafront tables that I rescued from the seafront, much to Matt's absolute fury, actually, because now the whole shed is full of even more crap, but other people's crap. These 10 seafront tables, which are covered in chewing gum and actually rotten under here, have come in quite handy for this, but actually they're pretty gross. So I did measure it, Sparky. So the camera, again, you won't be happy because it's like a bit of a fisheye. But yes, the jigsaw should fit, because I have added 5 random tables. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna have to get like a bit of hold music, aren't I, while I concentrate on this for a minute. So I wonder, I'm going to ring Liz after this to see, I want to hear her daughter dancing in her bedroom, because that's really exciting news. I can't tell you because I bought it for Christmas, and for many reasons, many unknown to most people in the world, that child wasn't allowed to listen, but she is now allowed to listen to it, and just being able to hear popular music must be so exciting. Mind you, with Steve Logan, I've had to listen to ever so much prog rock, isn't it, Steve? Bloody prog rock. I bet some people are going, what is she talking about, prog rock? I'm just going to ring Bethany because I really need a cup of tea. It's just, I don't want to disconnect the camera, no. Let's ring her. I spoke to my mum earlier. Oh, hang on. I can't do 2 things at the same time. She's not bloody answering. She's only in the house. Oh, well, that's gone wrong. She's not answered. What's the point of having children? There seems none. I spoke to my mum earlier. Oh, hang on, she's coming out. Hi. Not at the moment. I'm going to finish this bad boy. Well, not the jigsaw, the episode, and then I'll come in.
Are you still on?
I'm still alive, babes. Cup of tea, please. I managed to stop the camera.
You managed to stop the camera?
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Why?
Because I'm an idiot. Tea, please. I spoke to my mum earlier. Well, my mum spoke to me, actually. I heard about the dog who was up and down in the night and pushed her out of bed, basically. But I laughed. I said, oh, Mum, I'll send you the link. She was talking away. So, Mum, I'll send you the link to my first JigJaw. She went, that's nice. Anyway, and she just carried on talking about her mate from Holbridge. I don't really think 15 minutes is going to be that interesting to Mum. Certainly this one isn't. Oh, I just put, there we go. Oh, relief. Right, listen, I'm gonna leave this now because I'm gonna get my tea delivered and I'm gonna drink it and I'm gonna check everything worked. Please message me if you want me to mention anything or to remind people of funny things that Dwayne did. And I love you all and stay safe, stay well. And I'm sorry if this is actually pretty dull, but never mind. Who cares? What's going on? Bye.